When you think of a large luxury sedan, Kia is probably the last brand that comes to mind when it comes to playing in this segment. However, 4 years ago, they really shocked the world with the introduction of the K900 luxury sedan back in 2015. Now, since then, Kia has been on an impressive roll lately, really upping the level of quality, luxury, technology, and even adding a dose of driving excitement into a lot of their vehicles, which is why this vehicle right next to me is a pretty important new offering for 2019. This is the fully redesigned 2019 Kia K900. Now riding on an enlarged Kia Stinger platform, the big question I want to know is this all new K900 kind of like the Stinger's big brother? That's what we're here to find out. So if we go back to the design of the original K900, you'll remember that sedan had a pretty anonymous look to it. It also had a lot of chrome around the vehicle. It was a very blingy car, and luckily Kia has been kind of trying to address that. Unfortunately for the all-new K900, it still has that rather anonymous look, but it's also slightly handsome. So if you guys want a sedan that kind of blends in, it's not so flashy, this one may have your number all over it. Now looking at the design, you can see it's got that traditional Kia look to it with the tiger nose grille. Instead of all that shiny chrome on the previous generation, they've replaced it with kind of like a satin aluminum nickel finish, which is nice. Kia says the inserts of this grille are supposed to resemble like diamonds. There's like 140 of them. But one thing I don't like is the radar sensor for the adaptive cruise control. I think Kia needs to do a better job at hiding that. It just kind of looks a little bit tacked on. The headlights, of course, they're full LEDs, which are standard. You have an LED running light, which are 2 levels here, and an LED turn signal. Overall, the headlights are strange to me. They kind of almost remind me of bags under your eyes with that second tier. I'll let you guys let me know in the comments below what you think of the actual design. I do like the fact that full LEDs are standard. No fog lights, Kia doesn't include that. There are a couple of functional air intakes in here that create a wheel skirt or curtain over the wheels. Kia says that the actual coefficient of drag of this vehicle has been markedly improved over the previous generation. From the side profile of the K900, you can clearly see this is one large sedan. At a wheelbase of 122 inches long, it's about 2 inches longer than the wheelbase from the old model, and at 201.8 inches long, this is also about an inch longer. So this is definitely a lot larger than something like a Toyota Camry, a Honda Accord, a Kia Optima. Now let's first talk about the wheel options. Kia is pretty simple with the build of the K900. It's either available in luxury, which is the standard, or the VIP. These are the standard 19-inch wheels that you get. I'm not a fan of the wheels. They're just way too many spokes, kind of vanilla. They also look small. For 19s, they look tiny. They're staggered wheels. These are 245s in the front, 275s in the back, all-season tires. Now, one thing you're probably going to notice, there's an all-wheel drive badge here because Kia has finally made all-wheel drive as standard. It's actually the same all-wheel drive system from the Stinger, which can appropriate power mostly to the rear wheels if needed. Now, this is a pretty traditional-looking sedan. If you look at the actual profile, it doesn't have that coupe-like look. It's just a traditional like box shape for a sedan, so it's a little bit on the vanilla side. If you're okay with that though, the K900 has a design that is relatively handsome looking, and again, it really just kind of blends into the crowd. It's not so flashy like some of its European and Japanese competitors. So at the rear of the new K900, you can see a lot of design influence was, to me, it looks like it was taken from maybe Mercedes and Bentley. Again, it's a very conservative look to the car, but some of you may really appreciate that. You have full LED taillights, which kind of mimic the 2 levels here that you saw on the front, which again does look nice. You kind of have this satin chrome finish that follows the taillight. There's a K900 badge, which honestly I'd probably just debadge it at that point. One thing I am noticing with Kia on this car, they are changing their emblem. They're adding like a strange little red carbon fiber look to the background, which does look a lot better. It's a good thing to see that Kia's trying to change that up. Down here you can see it's got an integrated dual outlet exhaust. I'll let you guys hear the engine real quick. And again, this is not a performance sedan, it's just supposed to be a quiet, soothing luxury car. There's a single LED reverse light in the center over there. Now let's look at the trunk capacity of this vehicle because it's a big sedan, so it's got a big trunk. Now Kia didn't actually have numbers as of this filming for the trunk, but you can see it's massively huge. I think the old one was like a little over 16 cubic feet of space. This honestly looks the same. The seats themselves, they don't fold down. Instead, you just have a single pass-through for long objects, and then you have a temporary spare tire underneath here, which really surprised me. Most competitors just give you like a fixed flat kit or you have run flat tires. So the outside of the new K900 may be a little bit boring, but let's step into the interior of this luxury sedan. As you guys know, with a luxury sedan, that's very important. First of all, here's the key fob for the vehicle. It's basically the same key fob that they took from the Stinger. Love how the buttons here are on the side. It almost just kind of looks like a tool you use to detonate a bomb, but nevertheless, lock, unlock, hold. It's got a power hold for the trunk and then a panic button there. As you approach the door handle here, you can see there's a button here on the outside of the door handle. When you push that button, it locks the doors and the mirrors will electrically fold. To unlock it, there's no sensor. Touch the button again, and that will unlock the door for you. Now, wow, check out the interior of this all new K900. This is definitely the best aspect of this car. Now, some of you have expressed your dislike for the steering wheel. It kind of looks like the previous generation S-Class, but it has a lot of mixture here of Mercedes and BMW and Audi kind of rolled into one, along with some really new technology. This interior just blows away the new Lexus LS for me, and even the Platform Mate, the G70. This is the saddle brown interior with the two-tone with the matte finish wood. It's genuine wood, genuine aluminum. It's really welcoming. The seats, you can see, are 20-way power adjustment. You have a thigh extension, you have bolsters here. They'll actually hug you when you go into turns, kind of like the way a Mercedes does. And they're supremely comfortable. They're heated and cooled, just missing a massage function, which is very frustrating. But again, at this price point, that's the reason why it doesn't have it now. Stepping into the vehicle, you can see it has that traditional, sedan step in height. It feels really nice and it smells expensive in here. I just wasn't expecting that. Now, when you shut the door here, it sounds nice and solid as I expected with a luxury sedan, kind of unexpected considering this is a Kia. The doors themselves, they don't actually soft close, but just that bank volt like shud when it shuts. That's just really, really nice. Now, to start the vehicle up, you can see there's a button here. Just put your foot on the brake and then push this button here to fire up the engine. And looking at those gauges, they literally were just stolen off of a BMW. I mean, this reminds me a lot of the new BMW 7 Series that I had a couple months ago for a few days when I was out in Georgia. Listen to this engine. It's the 3.3 twin turbo V6. It's a smooth, refined engine. That's exactly what you want in this segment. So we'll go into the test drive later on, but let's first examine, the rest of this interior. You can see you've got two 12-inch displays. Now this display here is optional. It's part of that VIP package that it gives you. If you guys don't have the VIP package, you'll have a smaller 7-inch display, which I have not seen yet. But these two 12-inch displays, while I wish that they were kind of connected the way Mercedes does it, it seriously is the same thing as BMW. I love the new head unit here, but let's first talk about the materials because this is a luxury sedan. It's got real stitching here. It's all stitched along the upper part of the dash. You have more of that matte finish wood here with some aluminum trim and some piano black accents. It all fits really well. This is soft touch right here, although I'm surprised it's not stitched. Love the vents over here along with this Maurice Lacroix clock, the centerpiece right here. As you guys know, this is a luxury watch manufacturer. It looks really classy and elegant. If you guys like that, that look for clocks, like a fancy clock in the center, you're gonna really like that. Going over here to the door panels, you can see all that leather is kind of carried through onto this door panel here. You have an aluminum door handle here. You have 3-person memory seats, which is great. This is the 17-speaker 900-watt Lexicon audio system, which sounds incredible. Metal speaker covers as I expected. It's all nice and padded right here. You have more stitched leather, more wood that kind of just ribbons throughout the cabin. Down here, it's also even soft touch on this lower portion that gives you even more storage right here. The window switches, they just have a nice, solid, smooth, high quality click to them. So it just feels expensive. It feels like it's really good quality, and that was just really unexpected. Kia has outdone themselves. This interior has just blown away the previous generation, and it's even nicer than the Stinger as I expected. Now the steering wheel, as you guys know, it's heated wheel. It also has a power tilt telescoping adjustment, which is nice. It's got paddles on the wheel. It's got metal here. It's got real wood. It's got this like nice little roller switch here for the audio system, for your going to your menus. This screen here is highly customizable. If you push this button right here, You can see it'll show you your navigation, your driver assistance. You can even change the theme here. You can see there's an automatic mode, which is dependent on your drive modes. When you go to Pure Insight, that's what it's on now. This is Empower, this is your sport mode, which I don't really like. Usually I do. Refreshing Green's like your eco mode. Don't like that either. What I do like is this one, Midnight Violet. This is definitely my favorite. This is linked to the smart, the custom drive mode. So like this, it really resembles a BMW. Going back here, you can see all your different user informations, but it's just really expensive looking and just really nice. Acura could really take a book out of Kia's, or take a page out of Kia's book with designing their new instrument cluster. Now, over here at the center stack, you can see this is a 12-inch display. This is what Kia calls Uvo Plus. It's actually only on the K900. No other Kia has this infotainment head unit. It's basically Uvo with some, the volume turned up. You can see here it's a touchscreen, or you can also use this little command controller knob if you guys don't want to. This does not have a writing pad like some of the Europeans, but it'll basically click over, you can pinch, you can zoom, you can scroll over like that. So it's nice that Kia gives you a choice along with, dedicated buttons here to take you back to home or take you to menu, which is nice. I just really like using the touchscreen because it's at a good distance for me. I can easily touch it. You can see here's the navigation display. This hasn't really changed, unfortunately. I wish that Kia, had gone with an all-new map display. The graphics definitely have been slightly made a little bit crisper, but it's still the basic overview for the map, which I guess isn't too bad. They definitely beefed it up, but I just kind of wanted my own unique map display for something like the K900. Going to the home display there, you can see there's your audio. You can see here's your climate information, which has 3-zone climate control, I'm sorry, with your own separate heated and cooled seats back there, which I'll show you guys when I actually hop into the rear seat. Going over here, you can see you do have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. That's what the phone projection is. If you plug in your phone, that does come standard, which is nice. A lot of the other brands make you pay extra for that. Setup here, this car has so many different ways of customization. When you go here to your vehicle settings, you can see it'll allow you to basically mess with the heads-up display. There's a 10-inch heads-up display here. You can show all that. You can change the driver assistance. The drive modes, of course, where this car also has an active sound control. We'll go into the test drive later on and we'll talk about that, how it actually makes it sound. The lights, you can see the ambient lighting in this car. Kia says there's 64 different colors of ambient lights. You can choose between these, set customs or set colors, or you can go to a custom color where you can set the color and choose from basically this spectrum here. There's 64 different colors. So that level of customization, really impressive. And it's really great to see that Kia, is really taking it seriously when it comes to a flagship luxury sedan. So don't be fooled by the badge. This is one of the best infotainment systems in the business. It literally kind of just looks like iDrive the way it's laid out. And again, some of you may ding Kia for, stealing and copying, but hey, if you're going to copy, you may as well copy from the best. Now, down here you can see there's all your actual hard buttons. You can see there's heated and cooled seats right there with 3 levels. Heated steering wheel with 2 levels. This is your audio, your climate controls, which have a really nice, satisfying click to the button. It just feels really nice. This here, when you open up, there's a wireless charging pad there, which is nice. USB at 12 volt, a little bit more storage there. This right here, of course, is your 2 cup holders, which are a good size. So you can put stuff in there. This controls the 8-speed automatic transmission that is designed in-house by Kia. It kind of just is the perfect resting place for your hand, at least for me. Just kind of push this button here, go all the way into reverse there for reverse, and you can see 360 camera. I wouldn't expect anything less. The resolution and quality is great. It also has rear cross traffic alert. You have all these different views here if you guys want to change that. And I'm really surprised. This is better than any other Kia that I've tested before, so really impressed by that. Drive, kick it all the way back into drive, and then park, you have to push this P button here that'll allow you to go into park. This also changes your drive modes. You can either sport, there's eco, custom, comfort, and then if you push and hold it, it'll go into a smart mode, which is basically an adaptive mode. In sport and custom mode, the seat bolsters here on the driver's side only will actually hug you and squeeze you in turns to kind of keep you from moving around. This button over here, you can see your 360 camera, parking sensors, automatic start stop, and then that's for your rear sunshade. If you guys push that, you can see the sunshade will go up and down. Rear seat passengers also have their own controls. The glove compartment here, the center console is also pretty big. You have good storage in here, another USB that only charges, another power outlet. It's lined with felt. It has the 2 ways that it opens. The glove compartment also damped, lined with felt. It's pretty big, actually, so really happy about that. The seats, as I said before, very comfortable and supportive. The VIP package gives you the ability to adjust the seat from this side, which is great for the driver if you need to reach that. Wish they were massaged, but I guess you can't get everything for this price point. Above you, only a standard size sunroof. No pano roof is available. The suede Alcantara headliner you're seeing here is optional. It's part of that VIP package. There's even leather stitched around the door or the arm or grab handles right here, which is really nice. I mean, overall, this interior blows me away. It is nicer than that last BMW 7 Series that I tested. It's still not as nice as an S-Class, but you have to give Kia props here. They have surpassed the Genesis G90 in terms of the interior with this all-new K900. So with any full-size luxury sedan, the back seat is a really important place that you want to consider. And getting back into the K900, you can see it doesn't really look like much at first. You can see this seat is actually all the way back, but despite that, I actually have pretty good leg room. There's not very much foot space, which surprised me. There's a rather large hump here. Again, this is a rear drive bias car. Now, that's really kind of just the start of it, because when you guys have the VIP package, like my tester, it includes these seats right here, or these little buttons right here, where I can literally push the front seat forward. Only on this passenger side. You can't do that on the driver's side, of course, because if there's a driver, they're driving. But basically, you push this seat all the way forward. I can literally tilt the seat forward if there's nobody there and kind of give myself even more room. Now, the one thing this car is missing is like a power ottoman. You can get that on some vehicles, but you can see, look at this. The front seat literally gets out of my way, and I have all this space. Now, when you fold this down, you can see here, this is where the command center kind of shows up for the back seats. Now, back here I have heated and cooled seats, which are 3-level. That's part of the VIP package. I also can basically control the front infotainment system from back here. It's got the same buttons. It's got like all, the wheel to control that and everything. And the VIP package includes a wireless charger. I can literally come over here and just put my phone in there, and it will start charging my phone. I've never seen a wireless charger in the back seat before, so that's nice. Now, you're also probably noticing there's a couple of buttons here. You can see the seats do recline. This seat on the driver's side is actually only a 12-way power adjustment, while mine over here is a 14-way. The driver's side is a 20-way, that's a 16-way. So there's so many, each seat has its own different ways of adjustability. So really cool in terms of customization. As you expect, there's also nice manual sunshades here. There's a power sunshade in the back with the push of this button here. You can close the sunshade. And the seats themselves, I mean, check this out. They're so comfortable. I have plenty of headroom. I can literally recline the seat back, kind of just take a nap, just let my driver kind of drive me around. Really, I'm just sad that this is missing massaging seats, and I'm surprised that my tester doesn't have any LCD screens here. I'm imagining that's available as an option. Now, above you, you can see there's full LED lighting. There's a suede headliner, which is nice, but I'm also surprised that there's no pano sunroof. Like, it would have been nice to have a lot more light come in back here, but honestly, this is pretty good. And the back seat is probably the place you want to go. One thing I also really love is all of the LED accent lighting in here. Kia says there's like 64 different colors, and you can really see it kind of accenting in the speaker grille underneath, some of the trim here, accented throughout the controls here. It's just like a nightclub in here, and Kia really has stepped up their game in the back seat, and this is pretty much almost as nice as anything else. Honestly, it's a lot nicer versus the back seat in the latest Lexus LS, although I haven't actually tried an LS with the executive seating package yet, but this is honestly really at the top of its game considering the price. So underneath the K900's very long hood, this is actually where Kia made pretty significant changes. The old model actually offered two different naturally aspirated engines, a 3.8-liter V6 or a 5-liter V8. Those are both gone, at least for America. Instead, we get the Stinger's 3.3-liter twin-turbocharged V6 engine. Now, this does make 365 horsepower and 376 foot-pounds of torque, which basically match that of the Stinger. If you guys are keeping score, the old engines had 311 horsepower for the V6, 420 for the V8. This has less power, but it's got a lot better torque reserves that's spread out through a broader range. Now, it all goes out through an 8-speed automatic transmission that is a Kia in-house transmission. It's supposedly their next generation transmission, and unlike the old model, which only came with rear-wheel drive, this is standard with all-wheel drive. It's actually the Stinger's all-wheel drive system with the torque vectoring, and it can send up to 80% of the power to the rear. So that's a great thing when it comes to the driving dynamics. Now, this car was tuned specifically by Albert Biermann. If you guys remember, he's the guy from BMW M. So he's stiffened up the chassis. It's supposed to be sportier to drive. It weighs around 4,600 pounds, and Kia's also improved the fuel economy significantly. The old one would get like 15, 23. This one's now rated at 18 in the city, 25 on the highway. Premium gas is actually only recommended, but let's get out on the road and see how it all performs. So when you look at the previous generation K900, you'll remember that it was basically the dog of the class. It was the softest, squishiest handling vehicle in the segment, even by that segment standard. So I don't know what Kia was thinking with this new generation, but they actually added driving enjoyment into the mix by obviously basing it off the Stinger platform. The first thing I'm immediately noticing, and this is my first time driving the K900, the new one, is just how incredibly rigid and European-like it feels. Again, Albert Bierman was the guy who tuned the handling of this car, and it's basically showing. When I put my foot down here, you don't really miss the V8. Like, I liked the V8 in the old K900, which had pretty good power, but this twin turbo 6 has so much more torque in the meat of its power band. So it has more of that effortless acceleration that you really associate with a vehicle in this segment. So again, don't be put off by the numbers of the 3.3 liter engine or how mundane this thing looks on the outside. When you get it out on the road here, you can see the steering on this car has been markedly improved. It really turns in a lot sharper. The suspension also still remains soft. Like, even though I have it in sport right now, it's still a relatively comfortable ride. Actually, not relatively, really comfortable ride. The seats also coddle you. It's really, really good. It's really quiet in here as well. Even at, in sport mode right now, I'm going 60 miles an hour. I can practically like whisper in here because it's so damn quiet. So, Kia's got the whole luxury experience around this car, which is good, but they've added, that kind of like bank vault-like security and just stability of a European brand that a lot of people really like. You can see, put my foot down there. This thing is so quick. I'm genuinely impressed how fast this thing is. Now, you are hearing a bunch of beeps because this car does have all the driver assistance stuff that you expect with this car, and people in this area just simply can't drive. But nevertheless, when you kind of just get it down going on the road, you can see here, it eats up highway miles like easily. This is the main mission of cars like this. And then when you want to pass somebody, just put your foot down and it's so fast. Now, Kia says 0 to 60 times are around 5.7 seconds, which is about a second slower than the Stinger. Still very quick numbers. This is, considerably heavier, like 500 pounds heavier than the Stinger. So I wouldn't expect it. I expect it to be slower than the Stinger, but other than that, it's really, really impressive with the acceleration. Now, one thing you're probably noticing, every time I signal right or left, the little blind spot camera shows up there, and it literally shows you what's in your blind spot. That is the coolest thing ever. But honestly, I don't even notice that at times because I'm just enjoying how quick this car is. So much effortless power. And the technology, I thought that little blind spot camera there would be distracting, but surprisingly it's not. It just kind of, it shows up there to help you while you're driving. This car has the full suite of driver assistance. It's got the active lane keep assist with pedestrian detection. It's got, full all-speed radar cruise control, all that stuff. It is seriously, it feels like I'm driving a legitimate luxury car. And that's not something that I could say about the previous K900. I mean, sure, it had hints of luxury car, but you could tell it was their first effort. This kind of shows you that Kia has learned. They've hired the right people to, massage this car and make it even better. And honestly, I think I might like the way this drives more than the current Lexus LS 500. I really like the LS in terms of the way it drives, but this to me has a much nicer interior, feels just as sporty, has a really great powertrain. Remember, these two cars have twin turbo engines, and this car also has standard all-wheel drive. Now, let's take this off-ramp here, or on-ramp. You can see how the handling is. Remember, this is a big 4,600 pound sedan, but I'm shocked at how well it takes corners now. I mean, sure, the tires are limiting it, but the steering has good play. There's actually not much. I was expecting more tire squeal. Let's try a full speed acceleration from a stop here. A little bit of lag initially, but once this goes into the meat of its power band, it just goes, and the engine makes really nice noises. It's a little bit on the quieter side. That's with basically the sound composer, the sound amplification on. Let me go here into the vehicle settings, and we will go to setup here. Vehicle. Drive modes. Active sound. So this is with it on. Makes a decent noise. Let's turn it off. Still has that V6 noise, but you can definitely hear it's like echoing more throughout the cabin when it's in the enhanced setting. So, it's nice. I would just leave it on. This is only turned on when you have it in its sport mode anyways. So, it's basically going to remind you that you're in sport mode. Now I can switch it over here to comfort, or let's go over to smart, because smart basically is an adaptive drive mode. It changes the drive mode based on how aggressive you're driving or how smoothly you're driving. But, you know, just let the engine kind of just cruise along. And this again reminds you it's a luxury sedan with good visibility out of the front. You know, the hood is definitely long, but I can see everything. It's got big side mirrors. The view out of the back is good also. You just kind of have to remind yourself this vehicle is over 200 inches long, but it's not that difficult to drive because of all the cameras, the sensors. I mean, remember, check out this blind spot camera right there. You can easily see what's in your blind spot. That's the coolest aspect of this car. Now, let me talk a little bit about the fuel economy, because Kia did improve it significantly for this new generation. In my weeks for the testing, I was averaging around 17 miles to the gallon in highway of mixture of city highway. On the highway, I did push it up to about 23 miles per gallon. So not bad. It could probably still be improved ever so slightly. Some competitors, I'm sure, get even better gas miles than this car. But it's not bad considering how, you know, luxurious this car feels, how well it handles, how quick it is. I honestly am very shocked. This might be the luxury sedan that shocks me this year. This is one of the better driving luxury sedans with really great tech, a really great price, a really comfortable interior. And if you can get past the boring looks on the outside, which some of you may like, I really wish Kia offered something like a sport package or something, something that make it look like a Stinger on the outside. It would probably be one of my top picks if it just had a little bit more of an aggressive look. So if you look at the sales numbers of the first generation K900, in the 4 years that it was on the market, Kia only managed to move just around 5,000 units in America combined. Now those sales numbers are pretty paltry, which honestly is one of the reasons why it surprised me so much that Kia decided to do a second generation of this vehicle. If you actually look at the sales numbers of every full-size luxury sedan, I believe only the Acura RLX probably sells less than this. So if you guys want a sedan that's exclusive, get a K900. But with all that said, let's talk about the actual second generation version. Going back to my original question that I asked at the beginning of this video, is this kind of like the Stinger's big brother? Now, in terms of the design of the look on the outside, it's not. It's definitely a very bland, kind of anonymous looking, stately sedan. And I really think Kia kind of missed the opportunity to introduce a very sleek looking design, especially considering what they've introduced in the past. It should have probably had more of the Stinger DNA thrown in on the outside. But thankfully, when you start driving the vehicle, it seriously has more of that Stinger DNA. It's got a much stiffer chassis. It's got a great powertrain. It's got that all-wheel drive system that'll send power up to more to the rear wheels. So it has that taut, you know, secure feeling that you get with a lot of European sedans, but it hasn't sacrificed that ride quality. And the interior is really the most gorgeous aspect of this car. I would argue and say that it's even better to me versus the interior of the all-new Lexus LS, which used to be one of the benchmarks, although Mercedes is still kind of the benchmark in the interior department. But Kia's kind of taken a lot of elements here from BMW, from Mercedes and Audi, and kind of combined it and given us a quality that's really, you know, a lot to our liking. So with all that said, what's it going to cost to put an all-new K900 in your driveway if you guys want one? Well, this vehicle went on sale last month, and it actually starts at a relatively bargain price of $59,900, so just under $60,000 plus the destination. This one, having the VIP package for the rear, is only $4,000, and stickers for a total of around just under $65,000, which I know is still a lot of money for a Kia, don't get me wrong, but considering the fact that the Lexus LS starts at $75,000, the Genesis G90 also starts roughly about $10,000 more than this car. Kia has really kind of offered a lot of value into their, you know, sedan. As long as you can look past the Kia badge, I think that it's a really great option if you guys are looking for a full-size luxury sedan but don't need that fancy badge. But I hope you guys have also enjoyed my full overview on this 2019 Kia K900. If you're also looking to see the latest cars I'm testing, make sure you follow me on Instagram at redline_reviews, like us on Facebook, and as always guys, please keep subscribing to the Redline Reviews YouTube channel for all the latest reviews. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video. And so it's a little bit on the vanilla side. If you're okay with that though, the Stinger has a design that the Stinger's 3.3 liter Kia Stinger has a design that, you know, has relative Stinger.
Stay right there
okay.
And just say the K900.